Am I on? I feel like using the now testing. It's working. Oh, thank goodness. The other day I was on a Zoom call with a psychologist. We had to end up doing it by the phone. You know, the psychologist, when you go on a Zoom call, I'm much better. You know, sometimes I go a little cuckoo and I need to talk to someone. Uh, so they like to do it by Zoom because, let me plug this in here. You know, the psychologist wants to see you. She reads your body language as well as when she's talking to you, you know, to see if they match up, you know. They know about all that. So, but the microphone wouldn't work. I was just like making sign language to her. Finally, she typed. There was a chat. Thank goodness. That said, you know, hey, call me. You know, what can we do? You know what I should have done though? We should have left the Zoom call on while I spoke with her. I didn't think of that. She should have thought of that. So now it appears to be working. Please tell me. Well, if you can't hear me, I guess you let me know. Let me plug this in. Oh, I can't. The thing's in the way. Hang on. Ugh. I want to put some light. I might do a little makeup while I'm on here. Hey, the mystery viewer. When I have only one viewer and the person doesn't chat, that's the mystery viewer. And I don't know if it's one person or many different people that only come on, you know, at different times, and it's just one person. But that's my mystery viewer. I always have one person. I always have one person watching, no matter, you know, it might be the same person, or it might be different people at different times. So you're today's mystery viewer, unless you chat. If you chat and tell me who you are, you're no longer a mystery. I have the air conditioning on, so I'll wait. Three people. It's a show. When there's one person, it's a show. You know, like every person probably, or many people. When I was young, I dreamed of being an actress and, you know, having like my own talk show or becoming famous, or, you know, whatever. But life happens, and you know, most people don't end up realizing that dream. So on YouTube, I can pretend, you know. Let's turn on that's the light. I haven't used this thing in a while. So I took a permanent job. It's hourly wage, but it's permanent. It's not a temp job anymore. As usual, how I've gotten most of my jobs. I start as a temp, and then usually they want to hire me. I don't like to brag, but I do always brag about what a good worker I am. I don't have much else to brag about, but I have a very, very strong work ethic. Even though I don't last very long in the jobs, when I'm in the jobs, you know, I do my job to the T. When I'm going to leave, I give them more notice, you know. That's basically what a work ethic is. I mean, ideally you find a job you love and never want to leave, and you earn enough, but I usually, and my personality is very not committed to places very much. So places, jobs, cities where I've lived, although as I'm aging, I'm getting a little longer where I'm living in places. So I've been in Miami, you know, I was in Maryland for a while, came back. So let's see if I could do something with myself here. That's it. I have the light on, but I might turn on. Is the air conditioning bothering everyone? I'll turn it off in a bit. It's just been so hot. A little makeup maybe. So I'll talk as I'm doing my makeup. I see a lot of people like that. Yeah, so I tempt. I should do something on my. Yeah, I got to get that channel going. There's a channel where I teach people how to become a secretary. But you see, a bookkeeper is basically accounts payable, account receivable, make sure the books are balanced. You know, incoming. You know, for example, what we do is we rent commercial spaces at shopping malls. They run a few shopping malls, so we rent the commercial spaces. So the rents come in, and then we got to pay the workers, pay this, pay that. So I don't do the big top stuff. I'm not the accountant. That's the accountant. But I make sure that what comes in equals what goes out, and what goes into profit, and kind of balancing a checkbook is basically what it is, but bigger. But that's all a bookkeeper is. So a secretary could after some experience, eventually move into bookkeeping, which is a better paying job and a lot of responsibility. I mean, everything's a responsibility, but you're running the money of the business. So, a lot of trust is put in you. Now, there's a checks and balances. For example, I can do ACH payments. So some of you thinking, oh, why don't you just ACH so much thousands of money into your account? Well, I could try, but it's got to go through a process. Like I do the ACH wire, and I'm not saying I would even do that anyway. My point is there is a large amount of trust put in you, but there are checks and balances. If your idea is to become a bookkeeper, and if you happen to be someone who doesn't have a work ethic. But anyway, so it goes through. I send it, but then it has to be authorized by someone else in the chain. Like, oh, she sent us ACH today for this amount. Oh, here's the invoice. Yeah, go. Or yeah, granted, sometimes they will just trust you. Sometimes when it gets too busy, so you have to be trustworthy. But there is a checks and balances, and of course there's audits. So if you're a bookkeeper that wants to do all this stuff, eventually you'll get caught. You may not get caught right away, but so my point is, don't think, oh, I'm going to become a bookkeeper now because, but it is challenging because now if you can balance your checkbook, you can be a bookkeeper, but it's not as easy. That's my point. You're working with large sums of money, paying workers, paying invoices, electric bill. Sometimes you pay all the electric bills of all the, for example, let's use the example of one shopping mall that we run. Okay, so we get in all the money, but in that particular shopping mall, that's not always the case, but in that particular shopping mall, we, the property management, pays all the electric bills of all the tenants. That's part of the service we do for them. And that's usually metered, so it's not as hard. But and then we have to deduct it from their bill. The rent is due. Okay, well, you owe rent, you owe this, you owe the electricity, and we have the backup invoice and things like that. But that's one example, and that's not usually the case. Usually when you rent a little space, if you're a small business owner, you rent a little space in a shopping mall, you'll have your own meter in the more modern shopping malls. But some shopping malls, especially in small towns, they might be working not as. What is the deal with this lighting, though? My goodness. I should open the windows, the shades. No chats yet? Okay. I'm going to try to speak ASMR, though. And I'll turn off that air conditioning in a minute. Let's see. I'm changing the lighting. It doesn't seem to be affecting. It's this camera also. All right, I did one eye. I'm not wearing my contact lenses, so there's really not much I can do to save my face at this point. What I could do, I could do something with my hair. It's gotten very long, and I'm not the kind of woman that takes care of my hair. Like, I'll wash it and put it in a bun. That's basically my. So I really do better with short hair. With shorter, like to here. I start to get quite messy. Believe it or not, I brushed my hair this morning. This is brushed hair, but I have very curly hair by nature, especially in this humidity. So it always looks messy when I have it long. Now, if I were, there was a time when I had long hair and I was shopping for a husband before I got married, where I was earning enough and I would go to a salon once a week. So Mondays I'd get my hair brushed, not cut, styled, and it would last until Wednesday or Thursday. By Wednesday-ish at night, it was getting kind of dirty looking, and then the other 2 days I would just kind of put it in a bun and I would wash it, of course. So at least 3 days a week my hair looked nice. But right now I got to pay off a debt. I hadn't been working for a long time. Some of you may know. Since COVID, I kind of went a little cuckoo and I quit my job, and I was not well. I'll admit. So I'm back on track. I'm with a psychologist. I'm taking meds. I'm taking meds to keep myself a little calmer, a little more, oriented. And I'm not ashamed. Everyone sometimes needs a little help. You get it. In my personality. So I'm back on track. I started temping. I liked the job I was in, and anyway, I'm back to baseline. But for a year and some odd time that I was able to live without working because I had my savings. And some of you who may be new, I'm maybe repeating myself for those of you who watch me often. I had a savings because I was very good. I'm good at saving. I used to be. Uh, so yeah, when that hell COVID hit, I went a little cuckoo. I quit my job. I lived off my savings and living in my parents' garage, not paying rent. So that's why I was able to stretch it that long. I wouldn't have been able to otherwise. But got to a point where, oh, my money's gone. Now I'm using the credit card. And I was really resisting going back to work. I'll admit it was kind of nice not working for a year. But the push came to shove. I'm starting to use the credit card because while my parents give me free rent and food, that's it. And they even get a little, when I'm eating too much, they kind of mention it. So, which is fine. They have no reason to be helping me at all. So, but now, all right, back to what I was talking about. So, yeah, so I started using the credit card. I have a godson, so I want to take him out and do fun things, which started getting into debt. So now I'm kind of a little bit too deep in the credit card debt, and the interest is ridiculous. So I've just got to work. Like my plan now is to work, you know, get in the salary. And hi, Mr. Burnout. So please don't do to me what you did. Please be nice today. um, what was I going to say? Yeah, I just had a flashback. Oh, um, you lost my train of thought. All right, hang on. All right, so yeah, credit card debt. So I'm going to work, and I'm going to just pay it off. I'm not going to go out and have fun. And I told my godson, even because he's gotten kind of used to me. I had money at one time, and then now I'm using the credit card. So he's kind of used to me to taking him out every Saturday or two to do something fun. And you say, okay, it's going to be a cheap day, but when you're with a kid, and especially if you love the person so much, money becomes no object, even when you're in debt. So, but I do tell him, today we're going to teach him if you don't work, you get into debt. And he understands. He's 9. He's old enough to understand that you have to work, you have to run your life properly and get a job. And you know I'm still doing my eyelashes, but it's amazing. I'll have no makeup, and let me open these. I got to do a few things here. And I'm a little cuckoo today too. Hang on. Turn that off. Let me see if opening these shades helps. And I'm backed up against that wall because this garage is too small. It is a disaster. So I said I'm just gonna set up the camera facing the wall so nobody sees the mess behind the camera. What I should do, I know there's a way to. I'm still here, guys. Um, how's that? Is that a little better? Let me see. Um, I should do like one of those green screens behind me and have a beautiful scene of something, but I don't know how to do it on YouTube. I think I was able to do it on that app that I downloaded that doesn't work anymore. I had an app once where I could stream to YouTube and Twitch at the same time, but that app stopped working. It's just I uploaded it again, downloaded it twice. So I gave up. So really, I should find a paid service where I could. I wonder if my video. Hang on a second. I have something called WeVideo, which is a paid service, and I don't believe I can stream from that though. That's a video editor. But let me see if I can. And I might go on Twitch today a little bit later because the reason I love Twitch because it. And my dog's barking. I'm gonna go get her. Hang on. Oh, guys, I'm sorry. Hang on a second. All right, I gotta go get my dog. She's barking. I'll be right back because my parents lose patience with her. That's another reason I have to move out. All right, all right. right, be a good. Say hi to my friends. Here we are. She's gonna come say hi. She's been a bad girl. She's been a bad girl. She really is. She's food aggressive, and this is Penny Lou. What is the deal with this lighting, though? I don't know what's going on, guys, with this camera. I'm sorry it's such a bad. But anyway, Penny Lou is a disabled little puppy that, on top of all the other messes in my life, I decided to adopt. Oh, and she's just, oh. I mean, oh, you talk about therapy dogs. Look at me. Look at me. I was all hyper, and oh, she comes, and I imagine I've never had babies. I've never been pregnant. I've never wanted to be. I've always tried to avoid it, and I never got pregnant. So, um, but in hindsight, there is a natural draw. You know, she's 6 pounds. That's about the size of a newborn. And I find when I hold her, when she's being good, of course, when she's being a naughty girl, I get stressed. uh, so, therapy dog, I definitely agree with. I definitely agree. I believe it. Some people say, oh, that's BS. Most pets are therapy pets. You get a pet because you feel like loving something, you know. So anyway, might be the lens needs to be cleaned. Oh, let's try that. Let's see. Oh, do I have a little? You'd think with this messy place, I'd have a piece of napkin or something. I come here and eat. But let's try that. Okay, I'll use this T-shirt that just happens to be thrown over here. Okay, so my plan. Oops, what did I just do? Oh. That is a little better. That's, yeah, I think that was it. Maybe I need to, yeah, I'm not going to do this because I have a touch screen. So when I do this, everything messes up. But I think that was it. Let's see. And let's change the lighting. I wish I could put on a filter. See, YouTube doesn't have, wow, that's amazing. You're a genius, Buffalo Estate. YouTube doesn't have, see, Twitch has these changes you can change the screen, and sometimes you can look younger, and YouTube is pretty much just who you are. Twitch, you can be a little bit, more fancy schmancy, but changing the lighting, at night it makes a difference. In the daytime, and there's natural light coming in, it doesn't as much. So, all right, so let's see. All right, are we ready? We're going to continue with our ramble. I'll just have her on my lap. Let's see if it calms me. It definitely calms me when I pick her up. I don't know if it maintains my calmness, but oh, here's the thing though. She's a very sensitive dog. She has hydrocephaly. She's sleeping. I don't want to bother her. All right, she has hydrocephaly. Can you see the messy floor? There's my purse right here. I've got some stuff I want. So, going off on another ramble topic. So, she's very floppy. She has hydrocephaly. She walks. You can follow her on Instagram. It's at pennylife2022.com. No, not .com. At pennylife. And you can see how she walks, just out of curiosity. You don't have to follow me. But if you're curious, she has hydrocephaly. So it's I should put on my contact lenses. At pennylife. I'm going to take her to the dog park later. 2022, okay? On Instagram. If you're curious how she walks and how she behaves, she's the love of my life. So, so she's very floppy. Lost my train of thought, guys. Oh, let me read the chat. Nothing there. Might the lens need to be cleaned? Okay, 6 people. So, yeah, so she flops around, she falls, she'll walk normal for a couple of steps and fall. She's just a funny dog. She makes me laugh, but she's developed food aggression. So Unfortunately, when I feed her, there's the edge of the table there. When I feed her, oh, sorry, baby girl. See, any loud noises. Oh, that was my point. Any loud noises make her jump. You see, you just saw how I moved the table and how she jumped. She reacts, not to be cruel to her, but she overreacts to noises. So to keep her calm, you have to be calm. And when I start to get agitated and speak too loud, she starts barking. So we'll see. I mean, I'm not going to do it on purpose, but we're a loud family. We're Italian background, Italian Argentines, and we're loud. We're loud. And I'm not being, it's a cultural thing. We talk with our hands and we are loud and all of us. My brother's a little more quiet, but he's a nervous guy. So she's been helpful to me. My family ignores her now when she starts barking. But when we start raising our voices, we may not even necessarily be fighting. We just get loud. She'll bark, like she'll think something's going on. So it's kind of alerts us that we're talking too loud and we need to tone it down. And so when I've gotten agitated before, even on YouTube or just talking, on the phone or something, she'll bark. And it's sort of like indirectly she is a therapy dog, because she's warning me she's not doing it on purpose. She's doing it because of her condition, and apparently the loudness bothers her, so she barks. But it's almost like I take it as, oh, hey, you're talking too loud, kind of calm down a little bit. So let's see if it happens while we're on here. I'm not going to do it on purpose, but she'll be, and when she barks, I'll be like, oops, I've gotten a little too agitated. So anyway, hi, Claire. So anyway, back to bookkeeping. So, hey, I got to do something here anyway. I've got these, how you send out certified mail. I got to match these to this. I don't want to show the addresses or anything. It's actually from work. I hope I don't get in trouble for doing this, but I'm trying to organize the office. The last person was excellent. He trained me. The last bookkeeper was actually I don't know if he has a master's, but he has definitely has a bachelor's in finance. So he understands bookkeeping. He's young. He was only like 27, 28. But he found a new job, gave in his notice, and they were like, oh, just by coincidence, the accountant had to take about an extended leave for a few weeks. So the timing was not great, but he did it right. He gave his 2 weeks notice. That's all you need to give. I tended to give more and give warning ahead of time that, I'm looking for another job and all this. I think he had, but I guess it was sort of a little unexpected that he would be leaving just, anyway. And it was just the timing wasn't great. So I was working there as a temp, and they had already offered me the receptionist job, which is an excellent job when you're just starting out. But 30 years as a secretary, receptionist job gets very frustrating for me. I mean, you're the person who, of course, greet and smile at people, transfer calls, unload the dishwasher. There's usually a kitchen, an area, and you're the one who loads and unloads the dishwasher. And you don't have to clean. They usually, larger companies will have a cleaning lady, but you do have to tidy up the kitchen. You can ask, please put your own dishes in the dishwasher. I mean, that's common courtesy. And I always put my dishes in the dishwasher when I'm finished. But some people don't do it. And you gotta, personally, I don't say anything. I just put them in the dishwasher. I guess you do have the right to say, please, if you're not putting your dishes in the dishwasher, I'm not going to do it, but if it's your first job, I would suggest you not rock the boat until you get more experience. And you kind of have to, and I should really be putting this on my other channel, on the telling people how to become a secretary channel. It's called Ashy Felicia if you're interested in becoming a secretary. My point is, when you work as a secretary for many years, usually you start a receptionist, then, you start, if you know Word and Excel, you move up quickly from receptionist to a secretarial, assistant or something. So learn Word and Excel, whatever you do. Then you'll usually get your foot in the door as a receptionist, and rather quickly, if not in that company, another company, you can quickly move into a clerk, secretary. You sort the mail as the receptionist. You'll sort the mail. You'll send out mail. You might go to the bank and deposit checks. The receptionist here is a young girl who she has a college degree, and I can tell that job is kind of she's overqualified, but she did take the job because I guess she's young, it's her first job. But I can tell she's you have to be smart regardless. But so she's actually doing collections calls, which I appreciate because that's really my job. As a bookkeeper, I need to call people, let them know their rent is late, and it's a little uncomfortable for me, but I do it. I do what I have to. Oh, you call or email. I choose to email because it's written and it's a little more formal. Hello, this I am the new bookkeeper. I introduce myself at this company. Um, but anyway, and then eventually, yeah, you do a little counting for someone, because as a secretary, sometimes the accountant will say, "Look, I'm overworked today. Could you just do these checks, run these checks for me?" It's usually a system in and so then you sort of, end up getting experience in bookkeeping. So I actually had experience in bookkeeping as a secretary, the very bottom level bookkeeping duties. So a lot of this, so anyway, my point is, it was on my resume that I assisted with accounts payable, receivable, blah, 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 when I was applying for the secretarial. Anyway, the timing was perfect for me because the guy was leaving. They were like, oh, it's a small company, so a small office. And they're just like, yeah, now we got to start interviewing people. They probably should have been doing it prior, but the guy wasn't leaving yet. So, basically they just said, look, we're kind of desperate, this guy's leaving, we like you, do you want the job? I mean, which is the great thing about temping. Many times you don't have to interview for a job because you've been temping there, they know you, they like you. They may need to interview other people just to be fair. But so if you're bad at interviews, which I've always been so insecure at interviews. Now at age 56 going on 57, I'm more confident in a job interview. But until recently, I just would flub up those interviews, and I don't know why. So temping kind of helps you with that. You may still have to interview, but you already know the people, and they'll give you a little bit of leeway. So it doesn't guarantee you'll get the job, but it does help that you're the temp there first. So anyway, in this case, it guaranteed me the job. I was good at what I was doing, which was the secretarial part. They saw that I was smart enough to do other things. I was detail oriented, which you should be always in any job, detail oriented. And yeah, so it was good timing for me, and I did need the job. I must admit, I probably wouldn't have taken the job as much as I enjoy it if I weren't so desperate for money right now. But the pay was decent. Really, I've earned more as a secretary in DC, but the pay is pretty decent, and there's the opportunity for overtime, authorized overtime. I can't just do it when I want. But so I said, okay, and this could help me get out of debt. So for now, I decided, okay, I'll take the job, and I took it, and it's fun. I'm learning new things. As far, I do some bookkeeping, but I'm learning other things about, yeah, budgets. Got to help with budgets. You got to help with a lot of stuff. Anyway, that's much higher level secretarial bookkeeper, but you're already not a secretary anymore. It's already like my first. For me, that's a big deal. Maybe some of you have studied in college finance and are good at math and all that. Maybe for you, it's like a bookkeeper. That's considered like the lowest level in the accounting department. So, but it's a high level for a secretary. So, it's all relative. But for me, it's a pretty prestigious, job. Even as a secretary, if I go eventually to another job, and if I were a little younger, I'll admit there is a little bit of ageism. But not so much. I probably could get work right now. Apparently the Gen Zers are not wanting to work. There's a lot of jobs out there, and there's some sort of mentality where work is beneath them or something. The Gen Z, it's not the millennials. It's after the millennials. So there is a lot of work out there that I'm qualified for that I would be competing if there were more Gen Zers out there wanting to work. I would certainly not get the jobs. Now, ageism is illegal. You're not allowed to reject someone for being old if they're qualified. But how will I prove that it was because I was old? So it's hard to prove. But yeah, if you're a younger person with bookkeeping skills and have secretarial skills, you'll get a job overnight. Really. Um, Definitely as a temp. Maybe if you're nervous in interviews, you really have to be confident in the interviews. It's difficult because in job interviews you have to be confident. Is anyone chatting? You hate working? No, of course. Well, but you can find jobs that you enjoy. Like right now, it's a great office. It's small. Everybody's nice. There's not a lot of that. Sometimes in larger offices and where you're competing for same jobs, you want to move up the ladder and all that, it can get a little catty between the women. Maybe the men have their own little competition, or even between men and women. You're all wanting to move up the ladder, so you're competing for higher level jobs. But no, this office is awesome, and I didn't have to compete against anyone because there was another temp in the office, and there was a property management position open, which I wanted to apply for. She's a little younger than me, not much. And I knew I knew I was qualified for. And okay, maybe I'm tooting my horn, but I believe that if I would have applied for the job, I might have gotten it. Maybe not. Maybe they would have still picked her. But I thought to myself, first of all, I love the girl. We were both temping from the same agency, actually. The office temps from our agency all the time. So I thought about it and I said, I need the money. So, the job, paid better than what we were earning as a secretary. And it's a job that's challenging that I would enjoy. But she was already temping in that position, and she was temping and they were interviewing other people too. So that job was not as guaranteed. And I thought to myself, but first of all, I like her a lot. She's an adorable young lady. Young lady. She's probably 50. I'm 56. So she's not that young, but I guess anyone, and she's about 50, because I was speaking with her and we talked and I calculated. She didn't tell me her age, but I calculated, if she was doing this and this year, and I kind of calculated. So but she has long hair and she keeps it very tidy. And as far as presentation, she's got it. She's a woman that takes care. She comes into the office well dressed. She's wearing makeup, So she looks younger than 50. And I know if I had that oomph, I could try to look a couple years younger myself. But I might, now that I'm working and I'm earning a little better, I might start going to the salon a little more, maybe do my acrylics once in a while. But anyway, so I finally said, no, I'm not going to present myself for that job. And the drive, it's out in Key Biscayne. All right, I'm kind of giving TMI right here. It's Key Biscayne. To get to Key Biscayne in Miami, it's a long way. You got to go cross this long bridge, and you can't drive too fast. You got to drive the speed limit. And then in the morning, there's only one way in and one way out. There's like no alternate routes. And in the morning, now summertime's a little better because school is out, but when school was still running, you're waiting in that. There's a traffic light to get into Key Biscayne, if any of you have ever been there. I'm missing all this stuff. Oh my gosh, wait a minute, I'm missing all this stuff. How cute, Mr. Burgos coming in. I know. I had a little flashback when I saw Mr. Burgos. I was like, oh, hi, Mr. Burgos. I like you, Mr. Burgos, but I was said, oh my gosh, I hope he doesn't start his thing. Then I calmed down, lost my train of thought for a minute. Isn't a Penny Lou adorable? Thank you, Claire, saying so many sweet things. Too much paperwork for me. Yeah, maybe sick. I don't remember what I was talking about at that point. Oh, okay. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I get very over emotional sometimes on these lives, though. You're going good, girl. Yeah, I am. I'm back on track. Yeah. Now I heard Yaka jobs, but the ones I got to use in my brain in can't be bothered for these days. Yeah, no, you got to be ready for it too. You can't just. But temping, if I don't know what kind of work you like to do, but temping, almost anyone can be a receptionist if you know Word. You don't even need to know Excel as much. If you know Word, you really should know Word. Word, it used to be Word Perfect, now it's just Word. Anyway, which is word processing. You would be looking for a lady like yourself. Oh, thank you. You got to add that stuff up when going for the job. Yeah, and I forget to put stuff on my resume sometimes. I'm a beauty therapist. Oh, I need that. I need a therapy. Cleaner. Yeah, you mean cleaning offices can be kind of interesting. Now, you got to not touch the desks, but I'm kind of a snooper, not in a bad way, but I'll look at people's desks as I go by and and a picture there. And so I can imagine I would enjoy the office cleaning if I were an office cleaner, not because I like cleaning, but you go into people's personal spaces, kind of, office, but or home cleaner too. You learn about the person's personality, and stuff. Don't touch anything, of course, but you see, oh, he's got that picture, and you see pictures on their desk, or little trinkets that maybe were gifts, or maybe they traveled somewhere and bought a souvenir and put it on the desk. I love that stuff. So I do like to, when I go to like a coworker's desk and we're talking about something, I kind of look, and actually those little trinkets on your desk are conversation pieces. Like sometimes if you're a little nervous, you're new in an office, having these sort of non-controversial things to talk about, like, oh, you went to Disneyland. Oh, did you like it? It's good to have a little bit of back and forth chit chat with the coworkers to develop rapport and stuff like that. Never looked in a drawer, nothing, wasn't bothered, but I did look. Exactly, and it's not in a bad way. You look and, oh, the kid takes jujitsu because maybe he has a jujitsu award on his yeah, home must be even more fascinating. And if you're a kind of a person I'm personally not, but there are people that are kind of psychic. So, you might be in there and I hear that they feel the energy of the people's things. It's a very, and for someone to allow you into their home to clean it's kind of flattering, because they got to trust you. Uh, so yeah, I could see I'm a little bit. I did clean a person's home, a friend of a friend once, when a time I was out of work, one of my periods of life. And yeah, I kind of found that the person left. They were working, and I guess because I was a friend of a friend, he said, okay, trusted me. Anyway, it was interesting, but it was a little too, personally for me, a little too personal for me. Like office, all right, they'll have their trinkets and their pictures and stuff. But it's not as intense, you know what I mean? So that's my thing. You're an empath. Okay, so see, I could see if you're cleaning someone's home, you would sense, but yeah, I just didn't like to see, some of the things I saw. I just felt a little like a black and white photo of his mother, which I knew his mother had passed based on his age. I assumed, okay, I didn't know, but I assumed his mother must have passed. For some reason, I could tell it was the mother, maybe a grandmother. I don't know. For some reason, I felt it was his mother. Maybe it wasn't. Who knows? Now thinking back, but I remember at that moment, I was like, "Oh, his mother," and she's probably not here. And he maybe sees I imagined him seeing the picture sometimes when he's depressed. And anyway, too much, too intense for me. So, but yeah, offices. I've never cleaned offices, but like I said, and we have an office cleaner, and I have to be careful because I'm a little ditzy sometimes where I get a little bit disorganized in my thoughts. And I had a bag of candy and a bag of gum. I bought Orbit gum. I left it at work. I could be gum snapping now, and I put it in the refrigerator, but I'd forgotten where I'd left it. And for some reason in my mind, I thought I had left it in the drawer. And I was new at the office, and so Monday I went back to work, and I was excited about the candy because I was starving. I hadn't eaten breakfast. I'm a candy addict. I was like riding the bus to work. My car's broken right now. I was like, oh, I'm so hungry. I'm so hungry. I can't wait to get to work and dig into that candy. And I was like ready. And I was late, so I didn't have time to even run to CVS and get anything, which is, Anyway, get to work. I opened the drawer. It's gone. In my mind, as I said, I'm giving you the ending. It was in the refrigerator. But so of course, my first thing, oh, the cleaning person must have stolen it. But I said to in the past, I've done things like that, and I've learned not to do that because it turned out I was wrong. So in my mind, I'm thinking the cleaning person saw that I was new, knew that I wouldn't complain, stole my candy. Like, first of all, why would they steal your candy? And secondly, if they were that desperate for candy, maybe they're hungry, so I should have just let it go. But I didn't say anything. I said, but I was furious. I mean, oh, when you're just dying to eat and you get angry. So, and in my head, I was like, and I did second guess myself because I said, well, you've done this before and you've ended up looking like a fool because it turned out it wasn't true. I accused this cleaning person at a hotel once of stealing my sneakers, and it turned out I had misplaced them because I had switched rooms and I had left my sneakers in the old room. So I was in the new room. I was packing up to getting ready to leave the next day, and my sneakers are gone. And I hadn't remembered where I'd left them. I'd left them in the old room, and I went downstairs. The cleaning lady stole my sneakers today. I was a lot younger. I was in my 20s. Sneakers. They weren't super expensive, but they were. Anyway, and the person it was a small hotel. The person at my front desk said, "No, no." Apparently, she knew the cleaning lady. It was a small hotel. And customers always right, like we're trained like, oh, I'm so sorry. We're going to find out what happened to your sneakers. But apparently the person at the front desk knew the cleaning lady, obviously they may be working together for years or whatever. Her first words out of her mouth were, no, no. Like she knew this person so well, she was willing to risk insulting a customer. No, and I learned from the experience because it turned out she was right. So that's my point. And I even got angry inside. I didn't respond because now she didn't say it angrily, but she's like, no, it's another reason because I can guarantee, it wasn't what she said, but in her tone, it was like, I'm sorry, you're wrong. This person would not touch anything. This person, I will vouch my own reputation on her. That was the feeling I got from her comment of no. It was very polite, but it was like, no. So then we started talking, and then I realized, oh, that's right. I had switched rooms. Maybe it's in the old room. A new person had moved. This is how honest the people were in that little town. It was a little town in Argentina. And Argentines are known for being a little bit in higher level things, a little bit swindly, so even more, it's even more poignant what I'm about to say. So then a new person had already moved into the old room that I had been in. So we go. It was this tourist from, I don't know, Denmark or something. I don't know. It's a white guy with blue eyes that didn't know Spanish, but he kind of said in an accent in Spanish, like. So we went. He said, "Oh, I'm sorry. I think I forgot my sneakers in here." He spoke English. He didn't speak Spanish. I think Dutch or Danish. One of those Slavic countries. Oh yes, coming. With this cute acting. He's kind of cute. I was in my 20s, but anyway, I never saw him again. But no, they were right there. They had been a little bit wet because it had rained. I had put them on the. It was the air conditioner. It was summertime, but it was blowing air. I thought it would dry them better. And right there, he hadn't touched them. I was completely wrong, and they were very nice to me. I mean, I should have remembered. Well, it was so many years ago. Maybe the hotel isn't even there anymore. But back to the story. So I remembered that experience the rest of my life. I said, my goodness, I accused this woman, this poor woman who just wants to do her job, clean the room and leave, had not touched the sneakers in the old room, and then here I come down all a Karen. The cleaning lady stole my sneakers. I mean, I flat out just said it in Spanish, it was, yeah, I was so embarrassed, and they behaved so properly. They didn't rub it in, oh, here they are, didn't say anything. But inside, I said, oh my gosh, I thought of what could have happened. I'm accusing this woman. What if they would have accused her and started questioning her? And anyway, so because of that, I remembered the rest of my life. And it happened to me 2 more times where I didn't accuse the person because I had learned from the first experience. And it turned out I was wrong again. It was a lady who cleaned my house, a young lady. I was looking for a dress, and my house was very neat at that time. What did happen? No, I guess my closet was a little full. I was living in DC, earning well. I was doing well. Um, and I had my clothes. Problem is, when you're in your 20s, you might earn well, but just spend everything on makeup and clothes. Like, no matter how much you earn, it's gone. You buy clothes, you buy makeup, too much. You always have too many clothes. My suggestion to some of you who are younger, you don't need that many clothes. Just get some clothes, keep your clothes down. Don't overfill your closet. You'll have 20 pairs of jeans. You'll only ever use one of them. Makeup, you don't need that much makeup. The beauty therapist, you need some good basic things. I mean, I don't use makeup now at all, but when I used to use makeup, I realized I would have drawers and drawers of makeup, overpriced stuff from the beauty salons, and I knew I ended up throwing out most of it every time I moved. So don't spend a lot on clothing and makeup. Spend what you need and just keep it small. When you go out, try to keep and save money. Save money. Then you have a nice chunk. You have a down payment for a home. I mean, anyway, but I didn't do my own advice. This is my hindsight advice. But anyway, so I had all this money and I had my closet overfull with clothes, which is why I couldn't find that dress. And in my mind, I'm thinking, oh, she probably took it, the cleaning lady. And it turned out she hadn't. It turned out, and I didn't say anything to her. I said, but remember the experience you had way back in the day when it turned out you were wrong. So the cleaning people, frankly, are not going to steal because they know that they're the first ones to get accused. So I think logic would tell you, I mean, maybe some still do it, but they know they're the first ones who are going to be accused. So they know not to touch it. So you should actually give them the benefit of the doubt, bearing that in mind. Turned out I didn't say anything to her, thank goodness. And I ended up finding the dress smushed in my smushed closet. I just couldn't find it because I didn't look carefully enough. And then, so that happened. And then when's another time? A third time it happened to me where in my mind, like I said, the first time was enough for me to be embarrassed enough to know not to jump the gun and accuse people. Anyway, 100K in 2 years. You see, Claire, you could have had a house. I mean, maybe you have a house, but that's a down payment on a decent home. Oh, well. But no, I didn't do it either. I spent everything because when you're in your 20s, all you care about is, let's be realistic. Most of us young women, when I was 20, you want to be pretty, find a cute guy to have as a boyfriend, have fun. You're young. You want to go out to new restaurants and new places and so you want to look pretty and you want to have clothes to go out and you want to impress people. You want to impress people with your clothes. That's part of what buying clothes is, buying the brand that, and you realize when you're my age, oh my gosh, what I went through. And you'll have a pair of sneakers, same exact sneakers, but one has the stripe on it. And that's the one you buy instead of the one, that's, regular price. And it's the same sneaker almost, or maybe it's not, but but they're going to know that I'm not wearing brand name sneakers. Please, guys. I took clothing design at one time, and those clothes are overpriced. Making a simple dress is not that difficult. They're made by slaves in China most of the time, and then they're charging you like thousands in profit. Anyway, my candy. Let's get back to my thing. So. I do luckily have a house. Oh, good. Yeah, you'd have more money, right? Or you'd have money for for something else. Who knows what else? Or now it can get to a point as you get older where you're too. There's got to be a balance. You have to have fun in life, also. I mean, it's just try to budget, but it's hard when you're young. It's hard, and it gets a little easier when you're older. But look at me. I had my savings, which I'm glad I did, because as I got older, I started getting careful, and I did start, every time I had a good job, then when I temped, I would, just pay the minimum and just, But I got a little bit. I am grateful that I saved that money. So when I did have my issues during COVID, where I kind of had a nervous breakdown. I'll be honest. I had to go for some help, and I just couldn't. I could work physically. I was able to, but I couldn't get over this. I had like a phobia of going out, of going to work, of living life again. I moved back in with my parents. My relationship, I was in Maryland. He was, it kind of messed up my relationship a bit. Dear man, I love him. I'm going to visit him soon again. But, we'd been having problems prior anyway, but COVID just kind of ended my relationship. The stress up there. Now, here in Florida, I wasn't down here at the time. It was normal down here. They didn't have the shutdowns. I think you had to wear masks, but so people in Florida didn't get as mentally ill as some of us who were north at the time. But no, the lockdowns, I don't know, it depends what state you lived in. It caused a avalanche of mental illnesses. People who already were a little bit having, I've had problems in life, but I was at a place where I was, doing well. People who never had mental illness before had an avalanche of depression, and so we're just coming out of it now. So anyway, I'm back on track. I'm not going to delve too deep into that. Maybe I'll do another video sometime. And the reason I'm sharing that is because there's this stigma still, even though I will admit the people on the left, as much as I'm more of a conservative, but they are right in that sense. It shouldn't be a stigma to have mental health issues. You have them. Sometimes people, like I said, over COVID, maybe you've been fine your whole life, but you have a series of bad events and you fall into a depression, or your chemistry changes. It happens, and it's okay to get help if you need it. And with a grain of salt, sometimes the doctors are pushing the meds too much, and that's not right either. But you gotta, but sometimes you just need it. And I have to admit, over the COVID, I needed help. I did need help, and I finally fell, and thank goodness I had my dear friend who was my boyfriend at the time. He was there for me. But there were other issues. I'm not going to say it was just because of what happened over COVID that messed things up, but that's where I really realized what a wonderful man he is. And even in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, if I get myself worked out again and I sort it out, he deserves me to be well. He doesn't deserve a woman who's clingy. And no, he's a wonderful man. Anyway, we'll see what happens. Part 2. He's in his 70s, so there's not much time for either of us. I'm in my late 50s. So, but I do, we'll see. Maybe things will work out again. I have that on the back burner for now, but I do need to get myself, because it's not fair to him for me to, first of all, he doesn't want me back right now either. He's got a son in college, blah, 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 blah. Well, to be continued. But yeah, he's there for me. I'm going to visit him in July, probably end of July. I'm going to go up for a couple of days and stay at his house, and, kind of a long distance friendship. There's no commitment at this point, but there was at the time. But but he's my last. I mean, I've already decided, or kind of sense he's going to be my last relationship in this life, which is fine. I'm not sad about it. When we met, I had already realized in my mind that there's not going to be another one, after that last guy. The one before him destroyed me. Oh gosh. And I kind of went into the new guy, the one in Maryland, kind of off on the rebound of the other one, but it wasn't a bad choice. I mean, I'm glad I did that one. Thank goodness, because sometimes rebound relationships are even worse. But in this case, fortunately, it was good. It helped me. I didn't get over the guy before him, but it helped me feel a little better. But there's still some closure issues with the one before him that I'm never going to get. But anyway, after that one, I had just, okay, this is it. I'm done. I am done. I'm going to live my life. I'm going to enjoy what's left of it. And no more dating, no more dating apps. And I mean it. And then this guy happened along, an old friend. Some of you know the story. all right, I decided, okay, well, maybe for him, I'll make an exception because, that we'd had a history before. I knew him many years. And so there weren't the butterflies, which is a good thing. Because when you've got those crazy butterflies in your head over heels, that's when you make the worst decisions. So, anyway, blah, blah, blah. The candy situation where I went to work and the candy was gone. You should give another chance. Yeah, and he might be willing. We're talking about going on a cruise together. I can see us having a sort of a long distance, going together on trips once in a while. And but he's free to, if he wants. I mean, I didn't tell him that, or I think I mentioned it. He's allowed to do what he wants. There's absolutely no uh, if I find out he's dating other women, I don't know, and he doesn't ask. I don't ask, and he doesn't tell. He may be. Although he's 70, he's financially stable, not rich, but financially stable. He goes to the gym, takes care of himself, has a good amount of hair. He's got a little balding here, but takes care of himself. Sometimes he dresses a little bit shoddy, and I tell him, "Come on, don't wear that." When I used to live there, but like I should talk. But anyway, but because he is so well preserved. I'm not gonna now. I'll tell. Oh, when he was young, though, he's short. He's 5'3". I'm five. He's five. We're about the same height. I'm 5'3" and a half. I might be a teeny bit taller than him. So that's the only thing, and the only reason he's not like super popular with the women. Although he does get dates, especially now as an older man. Women my age are, or older than me are like, oh my gosh, one of the last good ones. The only thing wrong, in quotes, is that he's short. And, women will automatically write a man off because he's short, which, okay, if you don't like it, you don't like it. There's nothing you can do. I understand. I myself was that way when I was younger. Although, when I was 28 when I met him. He was 42. He's a bit older than me. He was short then too. And when I met him, although his face, though, super handsome. I mean, now he's older, he's not as handsome, but oh my gosh, like his face, like I saw his face. I walked we met at a night, and I went out one night with some friends, temporary allies or whatever. Haven't spoken to any of the girls again, actually. So we went out to this little dive. There was a group playing that was supposedly one of those little groups that's not super famous, that they became famous later, actually, but they were not so famous at the time. Los Famosos Cadillacs, the famous Cadillacs, an Argentine group that now broke up. They're old men now, but they got super famous in the Latin world. Not first, they were just famous in Argentina. It was a little group like the Beatles started out. First, they got popular in England, and then they started spreading. So that's kind of what happened there. Los Famosos Cadillacs. I'll talk. So we went to this little dive in DC. I'm going to get to the candy story. I'm sorry. Los Famosos, the famous Cadillacs in Spanish. They got some cute, and you might know them. They're famous in the Latino music world, but I think even they what do you call it, cross over, and so even Americans like them too. But anyway, at the time they were only famous in Argentina. They weren't, and maybe they had started spreading out a little bit to other Latin countries, but America, they were unknown. So they'd come to America. They worked in this little dive club that a little hole in the wall. So anyway, but the Argentine friends that I had met were like, "Oh, they're coming! Oh, there's hey," they knew who they were. So I'd never heard of them, but I went because and he was there because he worked in the IDB, which is a Latin Interdevelopment Bank, and so he knew the girls too. So we're mutual acquaintances. So we all went to this club as a group, and I ended up talking to him all night. So handsome. Oh my gosh. And funny. His jokes were so funny. It's still funny. He's a funny guy. Look at me smiling when I'm talking about him, saying how I have a special feeling for him. And it's not, it's not head over heels stuff, but I worry about him. I don't like him to live alone. He's got his son living with him over the summer. His son goes to college. He had children late. Because after me, we dated for a couple of months, and then he married the girl after me, which is fine. Our breakup was not painful, and we had decided to part ways. And then he started dating someone else and ended up marrying her, divorcing her. And now he's got a grown son, but he's older, an older father. Lost my train of thought again. Yeah. Oh, so anyway, but short. And of course, the first thing, but the thing is, when here's a guy for you short guys, here's a clue. Keep your face looking good and try to keep slender, because that's what you got going for you. Try to keep your face, your face is your face. You can't do much about it, but, try to, if you have pimples, maybe go get yourself facials once a month. And they clear out the pores. Facials, there you go, Claire. You know how that clears up your acne. I've been going to dermatologists for years. I had acne from age 13 until 27. I had acne. It did get a little better as I got older, but what cured it was finally, I'd been to doctors. I'd taken the what do you call those things you take for acne? The pills, not the strong one, Minosin it was called. It was an acne pills that worked a little bit, but no doctor in all those years ever told me you should go get facials once a month. Get the clean, where they clean your pores. So yeah. So finally on my own, I said, all right, well, that sounds nice. There was a special for facials, and I said, that sounds fun. Oh, it's probably lunchtime. And I still didn't tell you my story. 1 second. Yeah, I'm here. Is it lunchtime? All right, I'll be there in a second. Okay, I'm coming. Look, we eat lunch so early. My baby's here. Well, she hasn't barked, so maybe I'm not getting too loud. Oh, you guys, it's lunchtime. Look at the time. It's 11:16. We eat. Old people, my parents are in their 80s. They eat lunch at 11. I'll go in a minute. I am kind of hungry. I need to eat. Anyway, so back to my other ramble. I'm still not telling you the story about the candy in the drawer, but basically, the end of that story. So in my mind, and I didn't accuse her, but days passed. The candy wasn't there, and I looked around other parts of the office. I had put it in the refrigerator. So finally, I couldn't find the candy anywhere. I mentioned it to the office manager. I said, oh, I had a bag of candy. I don't know. Maybe the cleaning lady, because it was in a CVS bag. So what I said was, could it be that maybe the cleaning lady threw it out thinking it was garbage? Because, I said that I had left it near the garbage can, like on a box underneath the desk. And so maybe the cleaning lady thought it was garbage, is what I said. I didn't accuse her. But yeah, in my mind, I said, she stole my candy. So anyway, a few days later, they decided to clean out the fridge. People leave their food in there, it starts to rot. So somebody just said, okay, it's time to clean the fridge. We're going to go through everything in there. And there was my candy and my gum in the fridge. I guess I had put it in there thinking, I don't know why. So anyway, that happened. Get your facials, guys. Getting back to the men some of you who may be petite or short, or if you have a short friend, tell him, look, because what happened was this, because I'm short and he's short, I walked in and I was face to face with him, and his face was, he just happens to be very handsome in the face. So that was to his benefit, but he worked out, keep yourself as best you can. We're not all going to be Mr. Muscle, but do what you can to keep your weight, to a healthy weight, height, weight proportionate. You could have a few extra pounds. I mean, it's not easy, but love yourself enough to just try to keep your weight at a healthy weight and keep your face looking best if you're a guy. And another suggestion, guys, this is for the short guys out there that are, because yes, you do. It's true. You're short. Oh no, he's short. I'm not dating him. That's true. Women do that. And it's mean, guys might do the same thing, but guys will date doesn't mean they'll want to be your girl boyfriend, but they will date almost any woman for a couple of times. So um but women will discard a guy for being short. That's their first, one of the first things. But you do have on your side, if you get yourself a stable job, keep yourself financially stable. If you want to get a girlfriend or date, um, try to keep a financially stable. Um, keep your skin clear if you can. If you have acne, get facials, as Claire can attest to, isn't she? What's the other thing? Yeah, and try to keep your weight at a proportionate. I mean, this is a suggestion for all people, really, all people. But if you're finding that because you're short, that's what you can do to overcome that is, because women will date the guy that's good looking, that doesn't have a job, that is mean to her, but after she's had that, she'll start being more selective, and she might discard she'll make exceptions sometimes if you've got the other thing. So what happened, I walked into that dive because he's short. In this case, it benefited him because he's short. I walked in and I wasn't wearing super high heels either, so my heels were a little bit, I used to wear a little bit of heel. I might even been wearing flats that day. I'm not positive, because was it summer? I'm trying to remember. Anyway, I wasn't wearing super high heels, obviously, because I walked in and, we're introducing, and his face, oh, so handsome. Today it's not. Okay, we all lose our looks over time, and because of his height, it was right here. So there was no missing the beauty in his face, brown eyes, but soft, just a nice, oh. And he was married. He got separated after, so we didn't start dating that night. But anyway, we talked all night. Apparently he'd already been having trouble in his marriage, but we didn't, nothing. And long story short, I ran into him a few months later, and he was separated by then. So, he was on his way to a divorce, which was a little stressful because he wasn't quite, the woman had already moved out. The woman, his wife, had already moved out. They didn't have kids together at that time. He had kids with his second wife. But, so I attest, because a lot of guys will say I'm separated and they're not. So, but he was honest. I went to his house. I, saw his house. There's no woman there, no woman's stuff. Or even if there would have been, it's fine. If you're separated, sometimes the woman's stuff is still there. But, I went to his house and realized there was no woman, for all intents and purposes. And we dated a few months, and it wasn't the time really for him. When you're dating a man who's separated or recently divorced, many times you're going to be the in-between girl. And I was also young and not quite ready for the commitment he would have needed. But he needed some time. It was very recent, and whatever. We had fun. We had a nice 8 months. Both of us kind of mutually, decided. We didn't even decide we're broken up. It kind of just started falling off a little bit. Like he stopped calling as much, or I can't see you today. I got to do this. And I don't know, it wasn't a painful breakup, I recall, which most of my breakups have been. That one was kind of like, and then one day we realized that we were just kind of not together as much as we used to be. I don't know. And then he started dating someone else. So at some point it must have been understood that we could date other people. I don't know. But I don't remember being jealous when he was dating the new woman. Then he eventually lost touch with him. I moved away and he got married. And some of you know the rest of the story. All these years later, we ran into each other on Facebook and and I moved in with him. 4 years I lived in Maryland. But anyway, I better go. I might be back after lunch because I wanted to talk about my bookkeeping job. And I'm going to do an ASMR video this afternoon. Is the sound okay here before I go? I haven't looked. Well, I haven't, obviously with age, we do lose our looks to some extent. But I do admit I could do a little more. I mean, I'm not wearing makeup. My hair I need to do something with my hair. I mean, I definitely could do something about it and look better. I mean, so, I do have some things going for me that I'm not taking advantage of. So that's true. But okay, yeah, what I'm going to do is I have an idea. I'm gonna do an ASMR. Should I do a gum snapping? And I'll do it live on the gum on this because I got to start making money. Actually, I qualify to make money on this channel, but I don't expect to make much money because I have 1,000 viewers now. I lost my income on the sewing channel because you know what they started doing? I never checked my email. If you've had a YouTube channel for many years but haven't uploaded in a while, you start losing your income. You got to regenerate it again. So I got to figure out what to do on the sewing channel. So I was getting some income from the sewing channel, but now I've lost it. I've lost my partnership because I wasn't consistent in uploading. Luckily, I still have it on the ASMR channel. So I do have to upload every once in a while if I don't want to lose my ASMR income. And I got to respark. I got to see what I have to do to reinitiate the income on the. I've obviously got to do a sewing video, and I can do it on this channel, but I don't know if I'm going to do it on this channel. Once you have 1,000 of viewers, you're allowed to No, see, here's the thing: the ads are already activated. I'm not earning income from them until I sign up for the partnership. So there's still. Now, I wonder if I can turn off ads, but I think YouTube has a right to run ads on your channel without your permission because it's sort of their platform. So the ads you're seeing on this channel, I'm not getting money from them. So I figured, well, as long as they're running the ads anyway, I may as well sign up for the partnership and get the money now that I can. So I may do that. I don't know, but okay, I'm gonna do maybe gum snapping and going through these things that I gotta staple. I gotta staple these to the cards for the certified mail. It's work related, but and while I'm snapping gum and speaking softly, and Penny Lou will come with me to keep me kosher, right? Oh, baby girl. All right, I'm going to go eat lunch. Thank you for visiting. I will. I'm going to get a little makeup on and do an ASMR channel just to keep my channel going. Thank you, Claire. Oh, Claire, you've been chatting with me. Thank you. Whatever you want, memberships and super chats. Yeah. Oh, yeah. See, when I do a live on the ASMR, occasionally I've gotten a super chat donation. Oh, and over there, and a couple of people have sent me, not many, a couple of people sent me money by Zelle because I put my Zelle information on one of the videos. So I'll accept money that way too. Although now, since I don't need the money as much because I now have a job, but yeah, sure, any extra money was welcome, but I don't need it now, so I'm better. Okay, so see you later. Oh, bye. Thank you, Claire. See you. Bye. Say bye, Penny girl. Being a good girl today. Go to her Instagram at Penny Lou 2022. Bye. Bye bye. Thank you guys. Bye. Miss you. Love you. Bye.